So my youngest wanted some salsa and chips for brunch this morning, and apparently my salsa from last year is extra super spicy. So, and she is right now, you can hear her in the background. She's a bit in pain because she likes spice, and then it kept on getting more spice, so she decided to add water to it without telling me. And she's like, "Mommy, I need something to drink." So I've given her a glass of milk, giving her a bowl of yogurt to calm down her mouth, and I definitely need to mark this jar as being extra spicy because she's saying her eyes are burning. So apparently I need to do like 1 tablespoon versus a whole half a cup of salsa with regular salsa, as this year's salsa isn't half as spicy.
Don't you dare tell me to smile.
Hey! There's my youngest eating yogurt because it's burning. And I asked her if I could take a video. Now, is the salsa good though?
Yeah, ow!
So, for lunch today, I'm going to do some chicken nuggets and fries, and I'm going to have some of my beef stew that I canned. So this is what happens when I'm cleaning out the freezer. I have I put in the freezer three chicken fingers. That's not helpful to anybody. So, but use up what you have, and this is the pantry challenge, so I'm trying to use up, this is older stuff, so then I'm gonna use the other chicken nuggets here, which is a new box. It's hard to do one-handed. Here I'm taking from this chicken nugget bag. I don't know why I threw back only 3, because 3 is not really enough for anybody for a lunch, and nobody's going to cook 3 in the oven. So I'm just putting other chicken nuggets in here. And here. There, that's about 7 left in there. That's about like one person's meal. So if my husband was at home alone, he could cook that up, and that would be enough with some fries or whatever. And this is the big bag of fries you get at Costco. It's like 4 kilograms, so like 10 pounds. This is the last bit of it that I want to use up. And my husband really had a hankering for fries and gravy, or maybe poutine, which basically I would just take chunks of mozzarella cheese and put it on top, pour the hot gravy on top, and there you go. It's a quick poutine. There's some fries, spread that out. Spread that out some. Cook. See, that's not really enough food for 4 people. My husband and 2 teen daughters. So I'm going to make a salad, and then nobody else wants stew, so I'm going to make some stew I canned, which is perfect for situations like this, as I have a hankering for stew, and I have more wants of soup and stews than my family does sometimes. So this is the first thing I tried pressure canning. I got the pressure canner to try out to see if I liked it from a friend of mine, and I looked online and watched some videos, and I did a layered beef stew. And so there was raw beef, onions, carrots, celery, and potatoes, and then filled it up with beef broth. But what I didn't know, and now I do know, is that once it went down to 0 pressure or close to it, I had taken the weight off my pressure canner and it went pshh. And so a lot of the broth came out of the jar and into the pot. So I was like all concerned that, oh no, did I lose all this stew? Did I have to eat 7 large jars of stew? This one's a little bit of a smaller size. And I looked online and I read that no, as long as it's perfectly pressure canned, because see, it doesn't go boing with the lids. It's perfectly fine. There's just going to be less broth. And since it was pressure canned, it's perfectly fine. There might be a little bit of discoloration, but this is going to be my first time trying it now, since I tried one shortly after, and it was perfectly fine. And this is now 3 months, so I'm going to try it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of beef broth to it and then add some cornstarch, because you can't put any cornstarch or flour or any thickener in the jars so that they can pressure can properly. And as you can see, I didn't quite wipe this one as well as I should have, because I still see some dried stuff on there. But again, this was the first time I've tried it, and since then I've canned many things, and I plan to can many more. So I'm going to do that right now. I just tried a potato from the top. Yummy. It tastes better than the canned stews that you get in a can. And the potatoes taste really good. They're not all falling apart that when you freeze leftover stew and the potatoes dissolve in that canning, they're like nice and hard. I squeeze them and they just taste like cooked potatoes. There we go. And I'm just going to glass a little bit here, some water, add to that. I put some beef bovril in there, so I'll have enough broth. And then I'm going to take some cornstarch. I'm just going to put right in the pan before it gets hot, and then it'll thicken right up. So this is what I'm aiming to have a few jars on hand as a quick and easy convenience food. I mean, this stuff cost, the most expensive ingredient is the beef, of course, but of course I always get meat marked down, so I'm paying half price on anything. And so, I mean, the meat might have cost about $10, but I made, well, actually it cost less than $10, because when I buy a roast I always make sure it's under 10, and then whatever the half price or 30% off is. And I made 7 jars of stew, as well as 3 jars of just beef to make stew later on. So that's like $1 a jar. So that's like $1 a meal. And this could be technically 2 servings or 1 really big serving. So that's like $1 a person. I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, the potatoes and carrots and onion and celery, like, that's pennies. I mean, I get 10 pounds of potatoes for under $4, under $3 all the time. That's our going rate. And carrots for a 2 or 3 pound bag is like $1 something maybe. And same with onions. So, you use like 1 or 2 carrots or one onion. It's nothing. A couple stalks of celery. And celery is like $1.50 to $2 in the wintertime. So that's about it. So I'm making a salad now. I just sliced up some lettuce that you saw me on my grocery haul. I picked up 6 lettuces for $4.97. So I did 1.5 lettuces in this bowl, and then I did half a cucumber. And I was just going to show you these tomatoes. I bought these before Christmas. Okay, so I haven't used the ones that I picked up this time because I'm using up the old ones. They're quite ripe. There's a little bit of a bad spot. I'll cut that off. But I keep my tomatoes in a drawer in the kitchen, specifically that I hold veggies in. Just they were loosely in a bag. The bag was open, and they will ripen if they get them a bit hard and not ripen. They'll ripen in there. If you want to ripen them faster, you put them in a brown paper bag, but they'll stay fresh and they don't get mealy. That is my problem with the wintertime, is when the tomatoes get all mealy. I really enjoy the summertime here, but our summers are very short up here in Canada, so getting fresh tomatoes between June and August, September maybe, they're beautiful and they juicy. You can't get a bad tomato here. But during the winter months, they can get kind of crappy and stuff. But I find if I keep them in the drawer, they can ripen on their own, and they don't taste as good as summertime tomatoes, but they taste way better than keeping them in the fridge. So I'm going to cut these up and put them in my salad. Go wash them first. And there's my salad. I'm going to toss that up and put into the bowls. I'll get them picking their own salad dressings. It's very basic: lettuce, cucumber, tomatoes. This costs maybe a total of $2 with all the vegetables. And that's going to feed 4 people. Huge bowls of salad, if not have leftovers. If we don't put the salad dressing in right away, if there is leftovers, I could put some in a container and somebody can have that with their supper. Or I can have it for lunch tomorrow, because I don't mind my salad getting a little bit on the wilted side, while my family gets kind of picky and I spoiled them too much, apparently. Oh, and here's my stew. It's starting to bubble. It should be thickening soon. And there's my stew, nice and thick. And there's the chicken nuggets and the fries, and we're going to have lunch. And I'm just heating up a can of poutine gravy in the microwave for anybody who wants gravy. And I'll bring down some cheese. I'll bring out some cheese, mozzarella cheese to cut up if they want to put it with their fries and gravy. Hi, tonight I'm going to make a Ramen Noodle pepperoni pasta skillet. My husband sent me the link just about 20 minutes ago, and he's like, oh, we should make that for supper. So that is what we're going to make for supper. When you get a link from your husband to try, you go with it. My daughter had requested some ramen noodles. I normally do a cheesy noodle dish with them. So you cook up the ramen noodles, you drain them, you add the seasoning sauce with it, and you put old white cheddar shredded on it, or marble or cheddar, or mozzarella, and you have it as a side dish with meat. So today I'm going to make this with some leftover spaghetti sauce that I had in the freezer and some leftover kielbasa sausage that I had in the freezer, and instead of pepperoni, because I didn't have any pepperoni, I just checked. I have some deli meat um, sub packs, but the packages aren't open, so I want to use something I already had open. So I'm showing you the kielbasa I'm going to use. I'm going to take the rind off of it, and I'm going to use 4 packages of ramen noodle. There's 1 chicken and 3 beef. And then this is the spaghetti sauce that I made the other day of the Pantry challenge. There's ground beef, but there's so many vegetables in here. It's crazy. So there, I emptied the 4 packages there. These are the seasoning packets, which I'm going to put in a Ziploc bag and keep them for another time. I like using these in a pinch to make a quick soup or to give extra flavor to a broth that I've canned or whatever. I like just having them on hand. So now I'm just going to add some water. So this I just turn on, and this will take probably about 5 minutes to cook. This is literally a really fast meal since all the other stuff is ready and just has to be heated up. There, I'm just adding the kielbasa pieces in here. I diced them, and I'll let this cook, and then I will drain it if it needs to be drained and add the sauce and the cheese. It's really an easy recipe from what I read, and I'm kind of just winging it without really measuring stuff, as that's usually how I cook. And there I diced some mozzarella cheese and some marbled cheese that I had left over. I could have shredded it, but I'm just going to dice it and plop it on there and put the lid on, and it'll still melt just as fine. It's just starting to get warm here. I'm going to stir this up. So here it is. There's not too much water left, so I'm just going to add the sauce to this, and it'll dilute the sauce a little bit, but it will be super yummy. And I'm going to serve this with a leftover salad from supper. I made this big, huge bowl of salad, and we didn't eat it all, so we have at least half of that. So we're going to have that and this dish. I think it's called Ramen Pizza Skillet because of the pepperoni. I'm using the kielbasa pizza deli meat. So there you go. It's all stirred up. I'm going to turn this off. I don't want it to actually burn. But you can use ramen noodles, which are like always dirt cheap. Might not be the healthiest, but if you're hungry or if you're a student or times are tough, it is definitely one of those things to have on hand. And I'm just going to throw some cheese throughout. And let that melt. And it will be done. I mean, this literally took under 10 minutes, even to get the water boiling and cutting the cheese and the meat. So, you can't even order pizza in this time. And it's all things that I had on hand. If I had leftover veggies, I would throw that in there. I'm using my leftover sauce, but I could easily use a canned sauce or even a vegetable soup or a creamy tomato soup, or just do fresh vegetables and tomatoes or a can of tomatoes. Or I could add whatever I had on hand and throw it in there. This would be also good for any leftover pasta, throw in any beans or that. You know, it's completely up to you. And the way that I see most meals is I'll try one recipe and then whatever's left over, I'll throw that leftover stuff into another recipe, just so I don't throw stuff out because I hate throwing stuff out. Or we'll have a leftover smorgasbord meal where we'll have a little bit of leftover pasta, leftover sandwich, leftover meat, cheese, and crackers, or leftover rice, you know, and everybody has a little bit of everything, or they pick and choose what they want. So this meal costs, 25 cents each package of ramen noodles. I have the seasoning packets put away, so that's $1. That was about $1 worth of the deli meat there, maybe $1.50, and about $1.50 of cheese. So $3 for about $4 and then leftover sauce. So under $5. This is going to feed us, a family of 4, 2 teenagers, a meal plus leftover salad. So that is it. See, it's melting the cheese there. So there we go. Now I'm going to dish that up for my family. So that's the end of today's pantry challenge. My links to the recipe will be in below, and let me know if you try any of the things I made today. Enjoy!